Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Friday. I'm Jeanelle. Slade. Jay is off tonight. A last-minute decision that makes hunters waiting 40 years for a grizzly hunt in Wyoming wait a little longer. Tonight, Wyoming lawmakers blasting yesterday's decision to block the opening of Wyoming's grizzly hunt set to start this Saturday. Now, this ruling from U.S. District Court Judge Dana Christensen out of Missoula puts the hunt on hold for about 2 weeks. But immediately, Wyoming officials are speaking out. Wyoming Governor Matt Mead says, quote, grizzly bear recovery should be viewed as a conservation success story. Numbers have risen from as few as 136 bears when they were listed in 1975 to more than 700 today. And Senator John Barrasso continues to push for the state's control of bear management. Quote, the state of Wyoming should be able to move forward with management of the bear. This judge's decision demonstrates exactly why the Endangered Species Act must be modernized. But for some slated to go on this hunt, this ruling isn't so bad. One man actually won the lottery for a hunting license, but wasn't going to use a gun to shoot the bear. Instead, his camera. CBS's Stan Bush talked with Tom Mangelson for his side of the hunt.
All of my experiences in all my years have come to being able to photograph the things that I do.
You may not recognize Tom Mangelson, but you probably know his work. He's introduced millions of people to grizzlies following this bear called 399, maybe the most famous bear in the world.
We're at the north end of Jackson Lake, and this is about as far as 399 generally goes.
I can just like look with my naked eye, and all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, something's moving over there.
He and his assistant Sue Cederholm have been leading voices in the protest against Wyoming's planned grizzly hunt.
To go shoot a grizzly bear for the sake of putting a rug on your office floor or hanging it on the wall, there is absolutely no earthly reason to be doing that.
40 years ago, grizzlies in this area nearly became extinct. With the population here now around 700, Wyoming has determined they're safe to hunt again. A controversial decision as neighboring states say it's too soon and other game agencies ban grizzly hunts altogether, calling the practice barbaric.
British Columbia, Canadian province, they've had a very long tradition of hunting bears. They decided this year it was no longer appropriate to be killing bears for fun.
Mangelson says hunting's a poor way to manage the bear population, while dozens are already killed every year on the road. And he says climate change's effects on habitat have kept the population from growing.
I mean, it's sort of 101 biology that predators kill, the weak and the sick, and we don't. We take the biggest bucks, the biggest bulls, and the biggest bears, and it's sort of anti-natural selection.
Everybody needs to move down.
Mangelson says the success of animals here supports the success of the national parks and businesses too. Visitors spend millions every year to see wildlife up close. When even a common black bear and her cubs approach the road, tourists become paparazzi.
Bears are so special to all these people. This may be the only bear they get to see their whole lives. These are just gems of the National Park Service.
When Wyoming announced plans for the hunt, more than 500,000 people filed complaints.
Only thing I can figure out is that this is a very backward state.
Environmentalists worried the only way to save grizzlies was by winning some of the hunting permits. For now, a federal judge's order saves all of them. Mangelson hopes it gives him more time to convince the public that the bears should never be hunted at all.
I don't understand how somebody could actually work with bears, make a living off a bear's back, and still think it's okay to kill them.
In Grand Teton National Park, Stan Bush, CBS 4 News.
Hearings are also underway to consider removing protections for grizzlies in the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem. Another campaign endorsement for Democrat Jon Tester in the race for U.S. Senate, but this time it's coming from an unlikely group. The National Border Patrol Council, a conservative-leaning union which endorsed Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz and President Trump, is throwing its support behind Tester, saying he's serious about border security. The announcement made today at the Billings United Association Labor Hall. Union President Brandon Judd said the group looks for candidates who can bridge the political gap. He He said Tester is someone who's unafraid to cross party lines, saying in that way he's similar to the late John McCain. Now, Tester says he will remain compassionate about immigration while fighting for a stronger border.
As we look at this political gridlock that we currently face, we need to look to those that are independent-minded, that have security at the forefront, and Senator Tester has that, and he will do everything that he can to secure our borders, make our agents safe, make the public safe, and work for Montanans. And for that reason, I'm proud to endorse Senator Tester.
Now, Senator Tester tells us he did ask for an endorsement from the National Border Patrol Council. Judd told MTN today that if Republican candidate Matt Rosendale's campaign had reached out for the endorsement, their choice would still be Tester. Rosendale's campaign accuses Tester of prioritizing the needs of illegal immigrants, not fighting for stronger borders. Well, we have Friday night football over at Dela Stadium, where School District 2 will enforce some new rules for safety and security. Scott Breen joining us now with the latest on that. Scott.
You're right. SD2 Activities Director Mark Wall says, you know what, we're enhancing safety and security measures elsewhere in the district, so why not jump ahead of the curve down at Dela Stadium as well. Let's take a look here. The district sent letters this week to employees and parents outlining a few new protocols. These are a few of the notable changes in that letter. All students will enter through one of two main gates, either behind Senior or that 3rd Avenue entrance. Students are expected to be in the stands with the exception of bathroom or concession runs. They're no longer allowed to roam along the fence. Students who don't find a seat will be warned once and then asked to leave. The north end zone is now off limits for roaming, and students who leave are no longer allowed back into the game. So we've shared all these new regulations both at montanasports.com and ktvq.com. Mark Wall says it really just comes down to a handful of students who just go down there to mess around. The majority of them are terrific, but they're trying to weed out the seeds that kind of get down there and cause, you know, some stir-ups and dust-ups and that sort of stuff. Those are age-old, yeah, you know. So, but again, these protocols go into effect tonight at Dela, 7 o'clock, Skyview and Great Falls High.
All right. Thanks so much, Scott. Yeah. As we enter Labor Day weekend, a word of caution from Montana law enforcement as the state's roadway death toll now hits 115. Those living in Yellowstone County are the most at risk, leading the state historically with the most deadly crashes. The stretch from Memorial Day to Labor Day is commonly known as the 100 deadliest days. Now, that's because each year, more than a third of all Montana's deadly crashes happen in the summer months when school is out, the weather is warm, and more people are on the road. We check numbers from the Montana Department of Transportation to see how this year compares to last. In 2017, from June 5th to September 5th, 65 deadly crashes. So far in 2018, from June 5th to August 28th, 63 people have died on the roadway. That's 2 less than last year, but we are just beginning Labor Day weekend. Now, troopers say you can help keep those numbers down. Wear your seatbelt, avoid speeding, don't get distracted, and choose not to drink and drive. Turning to weather, Ed McIntosh, and for Bob McGuire this week. And Ed, it's holiday weekend, but is the weather worth celebrating?
You know, it isn't always. Once we start getting to Labor Day, we've had some problems in the past. Typically, our high temperature would be around 80 degrees this time of the year. In 2013, we actually had 3 straight days where we were a little warmer than that. But we've also had those stretches where it's been a little bit cooler as well. This weekend, things are starting to shape up to be pretty nice. Whether you've got plans outdoors, maybe a barbecue, a picnic, something getting together over this long weekend. Temperatures look like they're going to be real close to those seasonal averages each day all the way through Monday. But there are some changes ahead. We're going to talk about that with the forecast in a little bit.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Coming up on tonight's 5:30 News, we're heading out to Livingston for the last best out. Q2's Zoe Zandora is there live to bring us more about this year's important theme.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire and sports with Scott Breen. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.